Oh boy. 3, 2, 1, and we are live with the panel. We've just heard Terence Crawford opinion about Bob Arum stays. I'm gonna go. We're gonna go around the horn first. There. Who wants to go first, man? Whoever wants to go first. Who wants to go first on what we just heard this right there? Do you want me to tell you? Okay, I'll pick. Let's go Phil. Let's go Phil first. Then we go Coach K. Go ahead, Phil. Burn.
Yo, man. Yo, look, man, check this out. I just heard the interview with Bud Crawford. Yo, man, let me tell you something. Anybody that don't like Bud Crawford, man, you a fool, man. Let me tell you something. That interview was so good. I was leaning toward EJ for the fight, but now I might be leaning toward Bud. Like, I just like the way he conducted himself in the interview altogether. You know what I'm saying? He didn't badmouth Bob Arum. You know what I'm saying? He said, hey, at the end of the day, I'm with these guys right now, and they gave me my opportunities that has given me the opportunity, even had the chance to have these kind of interviews. So for me, man, let me tell you something, man. I personally think that their business relationship is in ruins. The only thing that's saving Bob Arum right now is the fact that Terence Crawford is still getting paid his checks. The only problem is I don't think he's getting paid the checks that he could be getting paid. But I do think Bob Arum is paying him the money that he has guaranteed him. So at the end of the day, man, look, Terence Crawford is being loyal right now to Top Rank and ESPN, because that's who he's rolling with right now. You got to respect the man for that. All the stuff that Bob Arum said about him, man, he had no comment on it. You know what I'm saying? He's only speaking about who he is as an individual, his loyalty, the top ranking Bob Arum. Like, hey, how he feel about it don't have nothing to do with the way I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? If he want to say those things, he said that's fine. At the end of the day, I'm with these guys, and I'm a fighter. I'm not a promoter. And if Bob feel like, he's having trouble promoting me or whatever the situation is, then release me. Like, I'm not tripping. He really got like a nonchalant attitude about it, because at the end of the day, I think his contract is pretty tight as far as what kind of checks he's supposed to be getting. I don't know if he's getting flat fees or what the situation may be. But at the end of the day, man, you can't help but like Bud Crawford after the interview, man. He's a real dude, man. And as you know, a lot of people say he's a family man. And most importantly, he conducts himself well outside of the ring. And I mean, he whooping ass inside the ring. What more? How hard is it to promote this guy? Let's be honest about this, right? You either not doing it because you don't want to put forth the effort to do it, or you just like, you know what? Fuck this dude. Like, I'm sabotaging his career. Like, what kind of like what it sounded like Terence was alluding to during his interview. He pointed out all the stuff that, hey, I know Bob's not doing this. Bob's not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So he's not naive to it. You got people in his ear, but at the same time, he like, I'm good right here. I'm getting the money I'm supposed to be getting. And right now I'm content until, I'm not. Never know what the future might hold. So, I'm thinking probably here in the near future, man, it's going to be a lot of companies trying to get their hands on Terence Bud Crawford, because let's be honest, he's supposed to be a superstar. He is supposed to be bigger than what he is right now. He's the best fighter in the world, or at least one of the best fighters in the world. And let's be real, man, Bob Arum is just not doing his job. So, I hope to see Terence Crawford on the back end of his career, you know what I'm saying, get to smell them roses and be treated like the king he is in boxing. And that's all I got to say about it.
All right, man. Nice one, Phil. Coach K.
I ain't surprised Bob Arum fumbles a lot of his superstars around this age, around this time. Mayweather had the same issue with him, and he broke out, became a superstar. De La Hoya, Pacquiao finally got loose from him. And it just he just following that same trend. I mean, whatever it is, at a certain level with these fighters, when they get X amount of fights, X amount of cachet, he kind of fumbles. And it seems like when these guys get into that pound for pound realm, he's not willing to invest in that pound for pound status, because he wants a lot of propped pound for pound guys. Like Lomachenko was cold. Don't get it twisted. The boy was a good fighter. But it seems like he wants to keep those fighters within a certain price tag, but he wants the accolades to go with it. So he wants to basically get you for cheap. And then I understand that because Bob Arum's a promoter, that's what he does. But now, since Terence Crawford is still undefeated and is pound for pound, and he's in a premier division, I think he's outgrown Bob Arum. I think they're just in different spaces, just like we've seen evidence before, like I said, with De La Hoya, with Mayweather, with Pacquiao, with Cotto. Okay? It doesn't change with Bob Arum. The same thing happens over and over. And hopefully Terence Crawford can get out of here without a loss on his record, without some type of unique situation that Bob Arum might try to put him in and make him lose his value. So if Crawford can work things out, get out of his contract, the thing that I want to see, and I think the bigger conversation would be where would Terence Crawford go? And I would like to see him with Eddie Hearn.
Okay then, man. Be talk.
My thing is this. Terence Crawford probably should leave Bob Arum. This is Bob Arum's track record with fighters. He brings fighters to a certain point, and then fighters have to, unfortunately, go somewhere else and really flourish. So Terence Crawford, he don't necessarily have to sign with PBC. I mean, if you want to sign with PBC, sign with PBC, if that's what's best for you. Eddie Hearn also said that he's ready to make Terence Crawford a deal. Eddie Hearn, he deals with everybody. I don't think Eddie Hearn has a problem with making fights with any of the promotion companies. He do fights with De La Hoya, Bob Arum. I believe he done some with Al Heyman. So just go to the place where you feel comfortable. If that's PBC, go to PBC. If that's Eddie Hearn, go to Eddie Hearn. Just do not put loyalty into any of these guys. Let these promoters show their worth. You know what I'm saying? Because you are the fighter, and you got to look out for yourself. Because in the end, when your career is over, you have to look at it and get out what you want to get out of it. It seems like Terence Crawford want to get legacy out of his career. He's not a guy to come across that he's trying to make $1 billion or $300 million out of boxing. He's concerned about his legacy. So if he's concerned about his legacy, he's going to have to get those welterweights in the ring. And if he has to go to PBC to do it, then he has to go to PBC and do it. You know what I'm saying? So when he go to PBC, I want to see the excuse then why he can't fight the Errol Spence. So if you got to go chase Errol Spence for your legacy, go chase him down, get the man in the ring. That's my take on it.
YG, nice one, B Talk. YG Knight.
Yep, yeah. I mean, I think Terrence played it right because you can't really just come out and straight bash Bob because you're still under contract. But at the same time, like, damn, Bob is notorious for doing that. Bob just straight bashed him and say, like, yo, he's a losing product. Mm-hmm. Like, he basically saying, like, yo, I'm losing money with him. Like, Terrence should have asked him, like, yo, drop the paperwork on what fights you lost money with me. Like how he brought up how you barely promoted me and he dropped that jewel on that. He should have brought that up too. Like, yo, he should bring up the fights that he lost money in. And he right. If you feel like I'm not an asset, release me. Like, why are you holding on to something that's not working out for you? So that's it to me. And then saying like, yo, I'm not losing no money. So basically you saying you don't got no money. Like he said before, there's no money in the budget to pay a Terence Crawford fighter. Like, basically, like, he's been saying it for a minute now. So that is a him problem. He need to get his shit together if he don't got the budget money to make these fights. So because he basically saying there's no money in the budget for a Spence fight, a Pacquiao fight. Like that sounds crazy.
Nice one, YG. Battle. Yo, battle. After battle. All right, going once.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. It's actually a lot I want to speak on, but I'm gonna keep it short just for like a recap. Honestly, it was kind of, in a sense unnerving to speak about one of his best assets to fight hype and have, I think that was Nestor Gibbs who played it back to Crawford you can kind of tell you're a little uneasy about the situation because I mean, maybe it did come as a shock to him, or maybe it didn't, but it seemed like it certainly came as a shock to him because you throwing your best fighters under the bus, and this is a recurring thing with Bob Arum, but coming right off the fight with Kell Brook when you don't even really have the numbers yet, it's just like this. This is something he's been sitting on for a while. He felt like he won't even speak about it. So, other than that, I like the way Terence Crawford like held himself up against those questions because he didn't want anyone to answer it, but he answered it in a very professional way.
All right, so I'm gonna give my take on it. I'm gonna tell you right now, boy. And this is what I thought as well. Bud Crawford's loyal, and his loyalty is like what's his name again? Like Tim Bradley has got him in trouble. He's loyal, everything's working, everything's smoothing, everything's bugging as far as he's concerned. He's finally made himself to be the number one guy in the company. And straight when he's number one, this guy's putting it on you. And the reason why he's putting it on you, to devalue him. That's what he did. That Bob Arum did that. He did it to Mayweather because see the thing is, when he does that, right, it makes you come back in the negotiation table and then try and negotiate with him, and everything's all right. But if you leave him, then he's got that stain on you, like you don't sell, you don't do this, where other people don't want to touch you. So they're like, what? So you know what I mean? If you're a businessman, like, what do you mean you don't do no numbers, this, that, other? But you heard from Bob Arum, no, you heard from Eddie Hearn, and you heard from what's his Dana White. Both of them was like, yo, are you crazy, bro? Like, I would never say that. Like, bro, like Eddie Hearn could never say that. Like you, bro, like in England, if Eddie Hearn never said that, bro, be lucky you lose your license. Dana White could never say that. But Bob Arum, because he's old, he's doing that. He's been doing that. He's been down in his product. He obviously wanted Lomachenko to fly in his mind. You know, that's the guy he wanted to, but no one's picking up on that little midget, bro. And I don't care if Roy Jones said he better than Roy Jones and you're better than part of the world. You ain't fooling nobody, man. You ain't fooling nobody. The crowd knows what it is. Bud Crawford is pound for pound. And see, Bud's one of them guys there. You can see he got that slow. I'm realizing talking to America how you guys from the north and the south, from the argument we had previously, this is before this live, by the way, for you guys listening, we had a debate before, we was talking about something, and how the south and the north have a different perspective in terms of how it is. Bud's a down to earth southerner. You could tell he'd lay back, he cool, he play, you know, he's just relaxed guy. He ain't trying to act the fool. And he's like, well, if it ain't broke, it ain't fixed, I'll get my paycheck, this, that, other. Bob, on the other hand, is looking at certain things like, well, but I should be getting more money. As you to say, he's got the problem, really. He really has got a problem. But the thing is, now you're messing with Terence Crawford's business and you're trying to put him down. Now, the guys he was talking to, Brock, AK and Brock, yeah, they work for the Zone, right? So they have him in their channel. But the funny thing is, they're on the Zone and they're saying, well, you want to go to the PVC. But to me, it's already signed already. It seemed like because he's talking to the AK and Brock and they connect and they with down with the Zone, it seemed to me it's quite obvious. But if I'm Bud and Eddie Murphy and not Eddie Murphy, Eddie Hearn's there, bro, I'm doing a one fight deal with the Zone. Who's the Zone's got? Who they got? They got any weights over there? No, or maybe not. But listen to this, right? So the Zone, I think they do. Eddie Hearn does business with Al Heyman. So let's say they do a one fight deal on the Zone because Andy Ruiz came over to the Zone, so they can do a one fight deal where Bud say, okay, I'll do a one fight. Okay, let's say I'll give a ball for it, man. 90 mil, Errol Spence pay-per-view, whatever. Maybe Showtime and the Zone, they both air it, they split the thing, whatever, and they get it on. I think they can do the Bud should look at this as a great opportunity to break out from the pack and on him. But now the thing is, like Phil said, now he's breaking out and getting that money and getting the big fights, but there's 100% now. Are you gonna win or lose? Know what I mean? And when you lose in them situations, it's like, yo, bro, you know what I'm trying to say? And then your whole career's on the line. You know what I mean? So there's big balls to be there's big stakes at the minute. You know what I mean? Do you stay with Bob Arum? Do you believe in what he's doing? And then you trusted him, and you know this guy's put that stuff out there. You leave him, and now you trying to prove to Bob Arum that you are a big sell. You could lose. So it's very interesting. By the way, if you guys don't know, Errol Spence Jr. right now versus Garcia. Errol Spence is doing a media work while we're talking right now. So I'm looking at Errol Spence. I ain't gonna lie to him, just looking at him shadow boxing, he looks fine. Whatever injury he's got, I don't see no repercussions from the injury. He looks fine, but I can't really tell that. I can't really tell that. But obviously, he's not getting hit right now. So his trainer is about to. What's he gonna do here? The trainer's about to do something. So, bro, I mean, we just got the break news. If you ain't seen it, Brock, AK and Brock, on the Zone right now. It just came out about an hour and 50 minutes ago. Terence Crawford, riveting, must-watch interview on his response to Bob Arum saying them accusations that he don't sell. So I mean, boy, we're all giving our take out here, and I must say, but he was pointing out that Bob Arum was sabotaging most of his career, and I was like, he's sabotaging your career on the Postal fight. He said on the Postal fight, but they didn't really promote it until they didn't really promote it. It was a pay-per-view, and then they said it was bad. So is he trying to purposely, even though he has the guy on his thing, purposely sabotage his career? I mean, that's a bit extreme, but whatever's gone wrong in the organization, I'll tell you one thing. What I think I do know, which is apparent, that after the fight and after the interview, however Terence Crawford carried himself, Bobarum didn't like it for whatever reason for him to say something like that. You know what I mean? I think he's insecure. Bob Arum is old guy, and I think he probably thinks maybe if Bud's gonna leave me, I'm gonna put this stuff out he don't really sell. I think he did that deliberately because he's that kind of old cantankerous grouch, Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street type of guy. So anyway, hey, anyone else want to say last words on that before we watch that? Because we won't sit down and watch Errol Spence like hit the bags. Anyone want to say anything else?
Yeah, I'll say one more thing, man. For me, man, I'll be honest with you. To be real with you, man, this is, to me, this is when fate meets what's the saying go, when opportunity meets fate. Like right now in Terence Crawford's career, I think right now he's coming up on some of the greatest times of his career. Like when he can really definitively say that he is the best fighter in not one but two weight classes. He has the opportunity to do that. You understand what I'm saying? And it's the perfect time for him to, shift his career into another gear. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he can make that shift unless he gets from underneath Bob Arum. And I think kind of Bob Arum probably knows that. Bob Arum, hadn't had any success with black fighters in a long time, like a very long time. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Bob will put that money into these other fighters, but these black fighters, for whatever reason, when they kind of start building that momentum, I think he's under the realization that, I can't contain these guys. I don't have the payroll. I don't have the budget, whatever kind of word they want to use. So I think right now, if Terence Crawford makes a break, I think right now it's the perfect opportunity for him to absolutely 110% maximize his career. And if he gets with the right promoter or the right company, I think he could. He's going to end up being happy, man. He's going to get what he's always deserved as far as being a stand-up guy as well as a boxer. And that's it, man. That's all I got to say.
Anyone else? Nice one, Phil. Anyone else?
I mean, I kind of want to speak on more of the Terence Crawford situation, but if you got to watch the workout, then I could probably say that later.
No, we're talking about the thing. I'll go ahead, because I wanna say something about the Pacquiao. Coach, you wanna say something real quick?
Yeah, I was trying to listen to him speak on something. The floor is here. Go ahead, man.
All right. Cool.
Well, for me, it's just a matter of opinion on Crawford. Because for me, I've always said Crawford should have been his own boss. He should have. Okay, he signed with Top Rank twice, but for me, I think after he signed with Top Rank, he became his own boss, done his own promoting. But I have to stop, looking at things that people want to be the top guys in the sport, the top earners in the sport. Maybe Crawford is just complacent with making the amount of money he does right now. For me, I've always looked at it from the perspective of, I want this for you, so you should want the same thing. But maybe Crawford doesn't want the same thing that I want for him. That's why I probably got to look at it from a different perspective.
All right. Coach, anything else? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, man, about boxing, Joe, as a whole. Even though Bob Arum has that pattern, I mean, since the Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather fight and Cotto retiring, and that leaves you with what? Pretty much just Canelo Alvarez, and then you still can say Pacquiao right now as cash cows. We don't have too many cash cows like we used to, man. Neither one of them have passed the torch because nobody beat a Canelo, nobody beat a Pacquiao like that. That's of notable name that we would want to see carry the torch. Nobody beat Mayweather. It's different. When we saw Pacquiao and Mayweather rise to fame, on top of them splitting and probably going their separate ways from Bob Arum, speaking of Mayweather mostly, then they had that dance partner as well soon as they kind of blossomed over into who they became. Now, Pacquiao obviously was still signed with Bob Arum, and then he blossomed into who he became after he fought De La Hoya. But there's a lot of elements missing. When you don't get the fights that you're supposed to get, period, then it's not going to go anyway. So Bob Arum might be right in him losing money, not because it's Bob Arum and Terence Crawford. It's just that they're not realistic with what's going on with boxing and the boxing fans. A lot of us, we still look at it, it's a niche sport, but you don't get that much coverage on it, period. You know what I'm saying? It ain't Terence Crawford's fault or Bob Arum's fault. It's just that these guys have not historically fought. And a lot of people still like turned off from boxing since Roy Jones has left. And then it made it worse with the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. A lot of people say, fuck that, I'm leaving boxing. I'm not coming back. So it's a lot that's going on there that is not just Terence Crawford or Bob Arum or promotional issues. It's just these guys are not stacking the goddamn cards. These guys, it takes too long for fights to develop. I mean, we don't even have to get it. It don't even have to be just Terence Crawford and Spence. We should have stacked cards every quarter. We should be able to be comfortable with the best fighting the best at least every quarter. You know what I'm saying? There shouldn't be no reason why we should go an entire month in boxing as boxing fans without a top level, A-level card that's stacked from top to bottom. There's no excuses. So it's a holistic thing for me.
All right. I'm gonna give my take on the Manny Pacquiao thing. He said Manny Pacquiao won that fight. They can make it because he ain't no longer with Bob Arum. So I don't need to get the Pacquiao fight through Bob Arum. And everyone see, either shows to me that Terence Crawford, in the little interview, because he doesn't really say much, he opened up in that interview and says he knows as much information as we do. He knows he don't have to go that. If Pacquiao wanted that fight, see, he's already saying that Pacquiao gonna be the A side, and he gonna submit to whatever Pacquiao is doing it. That's how he goes. He goes, if Pacquiao won that fight, he's gonna do that fight. So basically, these boxers are their own businessmen, and I think in a way, Crawford has been stitching Bob Arum up. I'm gonna put it out there. I think Crawford has been. He said he was taking pay cuts early then, right? So then he negotiated a certain amount of money with Bob Arum, and Bob Arum has to pay him. But Bob Arum don't feel like he's getting his money back. So in a way, Bob Arum probably is the victim because Crawford started laughing. He said, well, boy, I deserve what I'm getting paid. I mean, if Bob Arum signed the contract and he has to pay the thing. I mean, when he done the Amir Khan fight, he only promoted it for a week. And the Kelbrook fight done some good numbers now. But I think with Bob Arum's looking at it in totality, he's like, nah, I ain't made no money from this guy. I'm not making no money for this guy. I'm looking to ship him out. So I think Bud, whether Bud's sitting there content and us not arguing about is Bud better. Bud, whether we think whether you think, you're who's the best or whatever, Bob Arum's kicking you out the house. I think you're too big for the house now. You're gonna have to go on your own way now, son. You're going to have to come out the house and you're going to have to go to the big boy. You're going to have to go to the mansion where the PVC and the zone is. And now you're going to have to start things up because really and truly, I think what Bob's looking at is like we built this guy, we've been this guy, and we got to a certain point. But I think he ain't making the big money of what he should be making from him. So I think they're going to have to sit down and even negotiate. I can see Bud probably staying there, but, because Bob Arum says a lot of things about stuff. People kind of get over that when they get to the fights. But right now, as it stands, everyone thinks, as a business move, it's probably best thing for you, even maybe not to sign with the PVC, maybe do a one-fight contract where you fight for a certain amount and then see where you go from there. So, I mean, that's
real quick though.
Go ahead.
While you cooking, where's the money at though? Let's get off Bud for a second. Okay. We all historians. It's a lot of us got a lot of brain power on here now, and you're live so people can help out. Where is the money? He fights Spence, right? Yeah. At 147. Mm-hmm. Where is the money at? Like, I mean, when we say like money and these guys bringing in money, are we expecting these? Which I know is like a rhetorical question. I know we're not expecting these guys to get back to 1.2 million, 1.5 like Shane Mosley, Mayweather, De La Hoya, and all those guys. And they even 900K. Where are these big money fights going to come from? I know we want to see him versus Earl Spence, versus Sean Porter, versus Pacquiao. But even Keith Thurman, when he fought Pacquiao, that money wasn't as huge as it used to be when facing Pacquiao. It's just not the same, is what I'm saying. So what does the money come from with these fighters at 147?
Hey, you know what? That's a very good point because ain't none of them breaking the bank now. But Errol Spence has been doing pay-per-views. I think he done one with Mikey Garcia. I'm not sure if the Porter was a pay-per-view thing. They ain't overly big, but they still pay-per-view fights, and the fans got their money's worth. But in terms of like mega fights, well, they still establishing themselves as the number one pound in their weight class, right? And that's the fight what the fighting public want to see. But at this point, as we can see, Errol Spence hitting the bags now. You're right. It's not no big generated money, but for a Fight Fans Classic, that's what people want to see. You're right, man. Maybe he ain't gonna generate that much money, but maybe you're right. Maybe there ain't no money in the pot. Go ahead.
Because with Mayweather and Pacquiao, see, they were still knocking people off as people was arguing about them fighting. At least they were knocking off the Marquezes, the Timothy Bradleys, the you know what I'm saying, the Claudies, the Cotto. See, they was knocking those guys off. And Terence Crawford and Earl Spence taking a long time to knock guys off. That's the problem. They have to build up themselves individually to come together and make big bucks. If you don't build up yourself as individuals, y'all can argue to the moon comes, to the moon comes that we want this, we want that, we want this. You're not gonna get that if you don't demand a certain amount individually, if you don't demand a certain amount of credibility individual. I like Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford doesn't have a significant win on his resume. Just doesn't. He doesn't. The significant win that I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for him to fight someone that already has themselves established on 2 or 3 guys that they beat that was significant. Because Carol Brook, okay, I like Carol Brook. Carol Brook only beat Sean Porter. I like Amir Khan. He did his thing at 140. It would have been good if he fought Amir Khan at 140. If they would have met up at 140 for Undisputed, that would have been great. You know what I'm saying? But they met up at 147 after Amir Khan was gone. You know what I'm saying? Kind of gone. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see them knock off Keith Thurman. What's the name going to fight Danny Garcia? That's good. Do things that knock everything else around. Have Crawford fight Pacquiao. That, to me, that would be a great fight for Crawford. Fight Pacquiao, send Pacquiao into retirement. See, don't go in there outbox him. Go in there and stop him. So people can say, yeah, Pacquiao is out of here. Make Pacquiao believe that he needs to retire. See, I thought Keith Thurman was going to do that. Keith Thurman went through all those injuries and not fighting and blowing up in between weight. Part of Keith Thurman injuries was part of him getting injured too. You know what I'm saying? Being out of the ring, blowing up, getting fat in between weights. And he should have ended Pacquiao. You've been hollering about Pacquiao almost a lot of your career, Pacquiao and Mayweather. You finally get one of them in the ring and you make big mistakes in the ring. So Crawford needs to go in there if he's going to get the Pacquiao fight. He needs to tell Pacquiao, look, at this point, Crawford needs to take the lower side of the money and let Pacquiao make the bigger side of money because you after Pacquiao for his legacy. So you have to pay for that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to pay a little to get a lot. So he go in there and get that belt from Pacquiao. Now him and Earl Spence can fight for Undisputed. Now it's a big fight because people look at them 2 guys as being 1A and 1B, however you want to look at it. That's my take on it.
All right. I'm gonna give my take. I'm like this, right? I mean, this fight, you know, Coach K did bring up for it. You're right, they're gonna have to build it. I think he crosses over, maybe fights with Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, some other guys, and tries to build it. Right now, but he is the unified champion right now. I think Errol Spence is the unified champion. I think IBF and WBC champion, and Crawford is the WBO champion. So if they can have all the belts and mixed into that and almost fight, maybe they beat everyone who else is in the weight class for them to beat. Then let's get it on, bro. Either way, Crawford has to make some big decisions going forward. I must admit, looking at this media workout, Errol Spence looks amazing. He don't look like he slipped none. I ain't gonna lie. I can't see where, that car accident. I think he fully looked like he's healed from that car accident. What do you guys think about that before we end up? Anyone want to say anything about Errol?
I can't go off of shadow boxing. No. I have to wait until you get in front of somebody and let me see it in the ring because everybody was saying how good Carol Brook looked, and then after the fight, people say Carol Brook was washed up.
That's a good
You know
point.
what I'm saying? I want to wait until he get in front of Danny Garcia.
You know that's a good point because Keith Thurman looked really good when he was doing his thing, talking about he's a character going into the Pacquiao fight. He looked really good, and then you're right, man. Hitting the heavy bag, but he's hitting the heavy bag and that. You know what I mean? Danny Garcia, man, he looked pretty good. Anyone else want to give a take on Errol Spence? Anyway, how you looking? He looking alright to me though, but he look alright.
I think I got Danny winning the fight. Go ahead, Phil. Cool.
No, so this is my take on this. I'm gonna bring it back because I know, Coach, earlier you asked where the money was at, so I'm gonna bring it back to answer that question right there.
All right.
I mean, the money is there, right? But the money is only there for certain fighters. Because Pacquiao didn't really take no pay cut. You know what I'm saying? Pacquiao still getting what he been getting. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest about it. He lost to Jeff Horn, and he ain't just been out here really just dominating people. You know what I'm saying? So the money is there for the guys they want to put the money in for. So, you know, the guys like Keith Thurman and everything. I think Keith Thurman has come to the realization that, not just Keith Thurman, I think he's not naive to know that, okay, this is not like how it was when, you know, at the peak of Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. They know the money is different now. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, for God's sake, PBC Blueprint is basically predicated on the simple fact that, hey, we're our own promoters. They took that blueprint and implemented it, and they know that's how they're getting a little more money now. You understand what I'm saying? For just regular fights, when, you know, you fighting on regular television, you wasn't getting that kind of money. So, you know, you fight on CBS, ABC, you know, these cats, Keith Thurman, when he fought against Danny Garcia, the cats got like $2-3 million for fighting on basic cable. You understand what I'm saying? Cats wasn't getting that back in the day. So the money has changed in a sense. The pay-per-view blueprint is skewed because of Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, and Canelo Alvarez. So at the end of the day, they're not going to touch those kind of numbers just because they just not those kind of attractions right now in boxing in general. And I don't think it has anything to do with the fighters, because I think they are making some good fights that traditionally, if this was 10 years ago, could possibly bring in better numbers than they're bringing in right now. I just think the whole dynamic of boxing has changed. But the fighters from that era still getting them same checks. Otherwise, they don't have no other reason to be around.
Anyone else? Well, that was good, man. It was a good conversation. What I'm looking for right now, I'm gonna play the clip where Bud said his little clip. Bud said the clip. I'm gonna find the clip right now. I'll find the clip where he said. So for the people listening who haven't heard it, make sure you go over to AKA and Barack right now. Okay, Siri, that's that one. Okay, let me just share that. AKA and Barack and check it out. So I'm gonna play the clip and then we out. We out of here, boy. I hope you guys. I'll see you guys in the chat, man. See you guys all in the chat. We will go in the chat. We go all. You guys are all commenting, boy. We go over here. Oh, what's up, Tommy? Tommy over there. Diomino. What's up, John Dealey? Yeah. You guys got all comments, man. Let me play the little clip though, real quick. Play the little quick so you guys get a clip of what I'm talking about. Yeah, you ain't seen it. Go over that interview. That's probably one of the best interviews since Brian Custard. But you ain't see Brian Custard and Deontay Wilder. That interview was fire. That interview was fire as well, man. But this is a good one. All right, I'm gonna play it right now. I play that right now. Okay, we'll play it. Where's the volume? Turn it up. There we go.
Athletic. He says, I don't give a Team Crawford.
Run it back.
All right, so this is an excerpt from his article on The Athletic. He says, I don't give a Team Crawford got mad at me. The business is not about getting mad. The business is about facts and the reality of the situation. What did I say that was so wrong? I'll show him how much we've lost on his fights. Again, if we did this fight with Spence and put our money in for half of the risk and Crawford wins and Heyman wants to sign him, be my guest, for Christ's sake. In other words, I am not going to go in my pocket anymore for Terence Crawford. I don't have to make a lot of money with him on this Spence fight, but I know I'll break even or make a couple of dollars. I'm no longer in the business of losing money on Terence Crawford.
What's your response to that, bud?
That's cool.
that's cool. You know what I mean? Like if that's what he said, then that's cool. You know what I mean? Like he can't. Like personally, if he feel that way, you know what I mean, he can release me now. You know what I mean? Like he can just release me. If you feel like you don't have no, you know what I mean, I'm not an asset to your company anymore. You know what I mean? You can release me right now. You don't have to wait till after a Spence fight. Why do you have to wait till after a Spence fight? You know what I mean? You release me now, and you don't have to lose any money no more. You know what I mean? If I'm such of a loss, a headache, you know what I mean? Like,
how important at this point in your career, Bud, is the Errol Spence fight? Like legacy fights.
It's not that important. I keep telling everybody it's not that important. You know what I mean? Like I don't need Errol Spence for my legacy. I don't know why people trying to make it seem like I need Errol Spence. He need me. I don't need him. You know what I mean? Like when you look at everything, like I keep telling people, they don't know shit.
That was a little extract from the AK and Brock show. Check that out on the Zone. I'm EJ Boxing Live. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the guys here on the Hangout. Yo, make sure you go over and check on PVC right now. My man Aerospace Jr. throwing it down, doing the pad work right now. With his charity, I think it's Derek James doing his pad work. So I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. It was good catching up, guys. Peace.